Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today, very interesting day, because I want to talk about something that I think a lot of us, and pretty much every single one of us, have ran into this situation where you've come to, let's just go with the movie. You watched the movie, and you watched the whole thing, and you got to the end, and then you went home, and you're like, I didn't quite get that whole movie. What was going on? What exactly was happening? Then you ask the person you were with and ask them some questions about it, and they're speaking something that they saw that you're like, we didn't watch the same movie. Like, how did you get that from that? So it kind of makes you have to like watch it again. You know, a movie I can say like that probably gets everyone, that I think everyone alive today has probably heard about or seen this movie. A movie called The Matrix. Very interesting movie. Movie about something that the first time you watch it, you kind of just like, you're a little confused. You're like, what's going on here? And then in reality, it kind of gets, it's a very interesting movie. Was it a trilogy? Because when you get further and further into like the next movie and the next movie, it kind of, you think that it's gonna like answer the questions, but in reality, it kind of gives you more questions, and it gives you more of a outward projection of like, man, what is actually going on here? What is happening? What is the meaning behind this character and that person and this person and this group and that group and what's going on here? Where it makes you have to like watch it again, and then rewatch it again and watch it again to try to figure out a little bit more as you just keep on going through it. That each time you watch it, you find something new. That's what I'm gonna say is the exact same way that the Bible is. It's a fascinating story that just never just gives up, never quits, never just gets stale. It's just gonna keep on going and going. And I don't know if it'll get stale. You know, I've only been really dedicatedly reading it for a couple, or about a year, so I'm moving on to a couple at this point, but really just dedicatedly just putting my life into it. That it never gets to a point where I'm reading something, I'm like, yep, there it is, got to figure it out. No, it actually just opens up like every single time I have a question and I find the answer to that question, it opens up like 100 new questions. So then I have 100 new questions to figure out. Then when I figure those questions out, it just opens up another like 1,000, 10,000 new questions. So it's just like every time you find the answer that you were looking for, you realize that it actually wasn't the answer that you wanted. It was just an answer to get you next to the question that you're looking for. That there's questions and questions and questions that just keep on getting layered and layered and layered. And it's such an interesting thing because it's like, it turns 1 to 100. And then it just keeps magnifying. So it's like it's never ending. You're never going to get to the end of it. That you're going to keep on going and keep on going. And it's something that I think is super fascinating because it's like, I hear what someone says about it, and then I'm like, no, you're not reading the same book I'm reading. And that's the same concept with the movies, that you're like, I see what you're saying. Everything that you're saying is actually in that movie, but there was like this other layer to it that you're not even paying attention to, as opposed to what it is that you saw. And that's what just keeps going on in this Bible. It's like there's another layer. There's another layer and another layer. So you're going to read it, and you're going to read and see a layer. And someone's going to say, whoa, but what about this? And you're like, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even see that in there. I didn't even know that they talked about that in there. I didn't even know that ever even happened in there. And then you start to read that, and then now it opens up a whole new layer. So you can just keep going back and forth with new layers that you keep finding and realizing that you don't know it all. And something happens that gets really, I think, tricky and complicated when we have people out here that are just like, this is what it is, and there's no other way around it. That's dangerous because you don't know it all. I don't think any human being is going to possibly have it all, because you're going to hear something at some point that's going to make you say, huh, I never thought about it like that. Because I see that in every, if anybody wants to debate about it, that I see that in how people are talking and what they're doing. That they think they know it all, and then someone says something to them, they're like, I didn't know that. But they never like ponder and sit and think and stay in that for a moment. They just like bang right back to no, how about this and how about this? It's like, hold on a second. Someone just brought some information to you that you didn't know, that you thought you knew and you thought you were right, but someone brought you some information. Wouldn't you want to like dig deeper into that information to figure out more about where you want to go next before you just try to stay on what your topic, what your viewpoint is, and realize that someone just gave you new? So let's look at the new. It's something that I greatly appreciate with being me, myself, and how I am and what I'm all about being on this planet, that I'm never going to just say that I know it all and agree with anybody that says that they know it all, that there's questions. And when there's questions, we need to figure out some answers. And when we find those answers, there's going to be new questions. And when we figure out those answers, there's going to be new questions. It's just a constant snowball that's going to keep on continuing to go until the day we pass away on this planet. And it's something that's super fascinating because it's something to be able to keep you like entertained, I guess I'm going to say. That I never thought that I would be entertained by the Bible. I never thought that I would be a person to just sit on my couch and have 5-10 minutes of just hanging out. Or even just something I noticed about myself today that I know it's a little dangerous what I'm about to say, but I'm going to figure out how to get out of it. But I'm sitting here listening to something, and then I'm like, I got to grab the Bible and look it up. I never thought that I would be a person to just have a spare 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of my life and just say, I want to look at something. I want to look something up, a question that I had, and I want to find that in the book, and I want to figure out the answer so that I can find the new questions. I never thought that I would be a person to do that, but I've come to realize that the more I keep getting into it, the more I just can't get out of it. The more I have more questions, and when I have more questions, I feel like, I don't feel like, I know like I get closer and closer to the creator of what it is that's going on out here, the creator of why it is that we're here, the purpose of what it is that my goal is out here to be able to do. The closer and closer I get, the more and more I just keep asking these questions. And these questions, some of these questions, you can't quite even find the answer right away. The answer is I'm going to say in the Bible, but it hasn't been revealed to you yet because you're still looking at the world in a certain way. And once you let that way go, and you put on they call it like a new lens. You got a lens on. So you got a red lens on. You're looking at the Bible, and you're looking at the world. And then all of a sudden you're going to hear some information, and then you're like, I got a new lens. I got a new way of being able to see some things. I guess the best way I can say it is, I don't know why a lot of people today wear glasses, but there's something going on today that a lot of people wear glasses and have issues with their eyesight. So let's just say you're like a -20. I think that's a pretty bad eyesight. You're at a -20, and you're looking at the world. And it's like you can't see. You gotta be right here to be able to see anything. Like you blind. You blind at this point. And your magnification just keeps going closer and closer to being at I guess 0, or is it 20? So if you're -20 and you're supposed to be at 20, you're far off. So you finally get to the point that you can kind of see. You read something, you hear something, you get some inspiration to try to get into some information, and you just get like, oh, now I'm no longer a -20, now I'm a -19. You just keep getting to the point that you just keep getting more clear, and more clear, and more clear. And then you finally get to the point that you can see clearly. But that still doesn't mean that you know it. It just means that you're able to be able to see. You're able to like do something without the need of the assistance of other things, that you could finally be able to do it on your own. Now that you're able to do it on your own, now you're headed into a whole different realm of life where you have to really start to figure out what it is that we're moving to next. And a lot of times I think that that's how we're looking at the Bible and looking at God and looking at our world. That we're looking at our world and it's blurry. It's blurry. You're walking around doing what you're doing, but you're confused. It's very, very blurry for you to be able to figure out how to be able to make that next step. That you're like searching around for your step. You're like, I don't know. Is this safe? You're like putting your hand out there, like, is this safe? Can I go here? Can I be there? And until you start asking more and more questions, you're going to start to realize like, oh, I can see that is safe. Oh, I can see I can go there. Oh, I can see that I'm not in danger by that. Oh, I can see I am on the right path by doing this. But if you're blinded, and you're not able to see anything, you're gonna walk yourself right into some danger and not even realize it until it just overcomes you, where you're just gonna fall into it and you're not even gonna know how to be able to get out of it. And that's what I'm gonna say is where the magic starts to happen, when you start to do what it is that God is looking for us to do on this planet. That until you start to understand that there's commandments, that there's laws, that there's things that God is requiring for us to do, then as soon as you get on that, then you're going to be able to get to the point that you can see. And then once you're able to see, now you got to start putting the things together. But if you're walking around not living by the commandments, if you're out here doing everything against what God is looking for us to do, if you're out here praising other gods and worshiping other gods and creating new things and creating yourself to be a god and creating your spouse to be a god and creating your children to be a god and creating a dog to be your god and creating all this stuff out here to be this for you, that's just the first commandment up front in reality, that if you're out here doing stuff like that, that you're setting up for absolute failure. That you're searching. You don't have eyes to see nothing. You're searching. You're like, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? Can I hold on to that? Is that going to hurt me? Is this going to bring something to me? That you're not able to do. And until you start to understand all the commandments and starting to go by it, starting to live by it, then you're going to start to be able to get that sort of understanding that you're looking for, to be able to realize what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. I think that a lot of what we do out here on this planet today, that, I don't know, I had a very interesting conversation today that just very interesting. It just let me know. A lot of what we do out here today that we think is right is actually wrong. We're doing a lot of stuff out here that is just not the right way to live and not the right way to go. We're paying very, very close attention to people that we need not to be paying attention to, that they're heading you into the wrong direction, but yet we think that that is actually right. It's interesting because, you know, this Bible has a lot of conversation and talk about the whole concept of we will be doing, I forget the exact language, but we'll see everything as wrong as right and right as wrong. And that's exactly what we have going on today, that we're focusing and pushing more and more into wrong. We're focusing and pushing more and more into things that we need to stay completely 100%, do a 180 and run the sprint away and get away from. But yet we as society today look at it like it's normal. Like it's just totally acceptable. Like, duh, that's what we do. Like, you don't do it like that? What's wrong with you? For trying to do the right thing, you're gonna get shamed and slandered and talked down to. But doing the wrong thing, you're like praised, enjoyed, and congratulations, like good job. You got the participation award. Let's keep doing that. So it's very interesting. And you're gonna keep on living in a world where you're doing everything wrong, thinking that it's right, when you don't know and live by the commands that God has commanded for us to do. Because you're just going to keep going further and further and further and further into it. You're not going to be able to get yourself out of it. You're not going to be able to get away from it. You're just going to keep getting stuck. There's something interesting that I was reading today that I was doing a little flip through to just get a basic understanding and to keep on going further. And going further into the book of Judges. So going through all of Moses and everything that was going on and then going through all the battles that we're going through to get the land that was promised to us. And then I was reading something today that kind of just made me stop because I was like, hold on. We actually did get the land, or say the people in the book. The Israelites did get the land actually, and they did be able to live in it, but they didn't get it and do it the way that God was directing for them to do. So because they didn't do it correctly, they ended up losing it. But it doesn't mean that they didn't get it. That they actually did get it. They actually lived in it. And this is in the time of what's that guy Joshua was around and living. That they had the land, but what happened was they didn't get it and do it the way that God demanded for them to do it. They didn't go by the commands that God was giving them. They did it by the way that they did it. And since they did it the way that they did it, they ended up backsliding and then going way back hill and back hill and back hill, and ended up going to the point that generation went, people got lost, people got lost the word, people lost contact of God, people just went away, and then they just went to a complete, absolute destruction again. But they already got the land, but now we got people today that say that they never got the land, that the land was never given to them. But in reality, they did get it. Because something I want to read here is in the book of Judges. I like this book. I don't know why. Because it's something that just lets you know who we are as people. And in reality, the book of Joshua is one that is just, it lets us, all these books let us know who we are as people. And the more and more I keep reading this, the more and more I keep understanding it, the more I just calm down and relax. When I see madness, I'm like, yeah, I know, that's what we do. That's who we are. So there's no reason to get like all in a uproar, get what do they call it? Get your panties all tight because you see something savage going on. It's like, dude, that's what we do. That's all of what we are. And that kind of just goes more to confirming the point of what the real message of God and Jesus is, as opposed to this new stuff that we are all born in the best way of putting it is the way that God himself put it. We are all born wicked. We are all our thoughts, all our desires, everything with us are wicked in comparison to what God is and what he's looking for from us. That we are all that. And it's a matter of us being able to get away from that wickedness to get into a righteousness way of living. And that's in reality the story of what's being told here. That every chance and every second that we do and we move and we go, we always want to go back towards that way of just disobedience. We always want to go towards the way of just trying to take what isn't yours. Trying to talk down to who you don't need to talk down to, giving false testimony to people that you shouldn't be, coveting everything that everybody has, dishonoring everyone in entire world in reality. You just have no respect for nothing. The more and more that we want to go towards other things to try to give us that instant gratification and satisfaction. And the more and more that we just keep going completely away. Like that's just what happens over and over and over and over again. That in reality, to be a person, to stand up today and try to be like almost proud. You stand up and say, proud, I'm an Israelite. Like you should almost like be embarrassed in a way in comparison with what's been going on in this book, with what all your ancestors and all your people have constantly kept on doing. Like that's not like a big thing to even stand up to. That's kind of something that you gotta recreate and remake a whole new of to try to like make it to be better. to make yourself to people to actually look at you and be proud. Because in reality, and that's crazy to say that, because that's in reality what a lot of people have inside of them. You stand up and say you're a certain thing and you read the Bible, people just look at you with like, who the heck are you? I'm not going to pay attention to you. I'm not going to listen to you. They have all rights to do that based on all your ancestors and everything that's been going down before. That you get on the commands, you live by them, and God blesses you, and then you just destroy it. You sabotage it. You go back. You just go way, way, way downhill. And then you get back on it, and then you go way, way down. So it's not even like you're going back to zero. You're going up a hill, and you're digging yourself a ditch every time. You go up, you get close to God, and you go further down the ditch. Go up close to God, you go further down the ditch. You just keep going further and further, further down, to the point that everyone is going to disrespect you in the name of who you believe is the God, because they're like, nothing ever good comes from you. We get a little bit from you from some time, from one generation, and then the next generation comes, and you just go right back down to absolute savageness again. So it's like, it's hard to want to respect someone and where they came from when that's all that's been going down. When at one moment you're trusting in God, believing in God, then the next moment you're sacrificing and killing your kids to give them to a God or to the Baal. To the golden calf is what keeps happening over and over. Or to Moloch, I don't know what he is. He's like a goat thing. I don't know what it is. But to these other gods, that you're literally killing your children and giving them to these gods, your babies and stuff, and giving them. So when someone hears and sees about that, they're like, dude, I got no respect for you. I got no reasons to want to listen to you. Like, forget you and your God. Look what you're doing. So when you get a lot of backlash, when you're out there trying to tell someone about this Bible and try to explain to them what it's all about, you're going to get backlash, because it is in our DNA, in our lineage, in our history, for people to just not want to listen to you because of what's gone down before. So we have to make a new, and we have to stay firm to it and stay strong to it and stay dedicated to it and never backslide and keep on going forward. And the only way that we could backslide is by teaching it to the children. And the children need to know how to be able to grow up and be able to do this. But yet there's something going on today that's trying to convince our children to do what it is that keeps happening in this Bible, is get away from it. Go intermingle with these other people that I want to read this right here. Because this is where the Israelites are fighting, and they were taking all the land that was promised to them, which is interesting, because when I was doing all the back and forth, it's the land of Ham, the son of Noah, the one that said that got cursed, the one that Noah cursed and said, you're going to be the slave of. So in reality, the Israelites are taking all the land from him, the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Pizzites, all these people. That's the land that is where the Israelites are what's that word? Man, give me the word. Promised to live in. That was their land. And they fought all these people in Joshua and in Deuteronomy, in Numbers, in all these. They fought all of them. They got them all out. But they didn't get them all out. And that's where things were starting to get complicated. Because in the book of Judges, we go to, I don't want to read it all, but we're just going to start here and see. Judges 1, chapter 1. Chapter 1:1. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites asked the Lord, who is going to go up and fight first and fight against the Canaanites? The Lord answered, Judah shall go up. I have given the land into their hands. The men of Judah said to the Simeonites, their fellow Israelites, come up with us into the territory allotted to us so we can fight against the Canaanites. We in turn will go with you into yours. So the Simeonites went with them. When Judah attacked, the Lord gave the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hands, and they struck down 10,000 men at Bezek. And so they took that land. And then the men of Judah attacked Jerusalem, and they took it. And then Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites again in the hill country, the Negev, the western foothills, and advanced against the Canaanites living in the Hebron, and defeated Shema. And they advanced and against the people living in Damar. And they were fighting. They took all this land. So then we go down to chapter 1, verse 17. Then the men of Judah went with the Simeonites and their so they switched. So Judah asked Simeonites, can you help us in our conquering? And then the next time the Simeonites asked Judah, can you help us now? So they did. They attacked the Canaanites again. There's just Canaanites like crazy everywhere. So they're just taking them everywhere that they are. They're taking them. And God, if it rains today, I don't know what to say to you. But last night I smelt rain, and we haven't had rain in what feels like weeks. I'm pretty sure it's been weeks, but we got rain clouds, and now hopefully it rains today. I wouldn't even mind if it rains right now because we need it. The Canaanites lived in Zampeth. They totally destroyed the city. Judah also took Gaza, Ashkelon, Ekron, each of the city in its territory. They took possession of the hill country. They were unable to drive the people from the plains, but they had chariots outfitted as Moses promised. The Hebrew drove the 3 sons, and then Benjamites, however, they did not drive out the Jebusites who were living in Jerusalem. To this day, the Jebusites live there with the Benjamites. So for whatever reason, the Benjamites decided to just allow who was living there to stay with them. And this is the start of when things get tricky. Now in 22, now the tribes of Joseph attacked Bethel, and the Lord was with them. The spies saw the men coming out of the city, and they said to them, "Show us how to get into the city, and we'll see that you're treated well." So he was shown how to get into the city and put a sword, but spared the man and his whole family. Then he went to the land of the Hittites, where he built a city and called it Luz. But Manasseh did not drive out the people of Beth or Takah or Dor or Elibam or Megiddo. I hope that's Megiddo. That's a pretty cool city name. And the surrounding settlements. For the Canaanites were determined to live in that land. When Israel became strong, so these people, the Canaanites, so the people are supposed to come in and move them all out. The Canaanites were like, we're not leaving. So the Israel became strong. They pressed the Canaanites into forced labor, but never drove them out completely. Nor did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites living in Gezer, but the Canaanites continued to live among them. Neither did Zebulun drive out the Canaanites living in Catan or Nabal, so these Canaanites lived among them, but Zebulun did subject them to forced labor. Nor did Asher drive out those who were living in Acco or Sidon or Ablan or Azkabab or Helbam or Epelek or Rehom. The Ashers lived among the Canaanite inhabitants of the land because they did not drive them out. Neither did Nephital drive out those who, so this is just going over and over. So every single tribe of Israel that was supposed to be driving out all of the people, they decided, nah, you could just stay. You could stay. We're not gonna force you out. You could stay here. When God was telling them to get them out because that was your land. But they decided, no, we're just gonna share the land with you guys. We're gonna hang out and stay here. So that's a very, very sticky situation because God was giving them this land and telling them this is your land. But yet, and I'm gonna drive out the people of those lands because that's what he told Moses, that I'm gonna drive the people out and you're gonna possess that land. But yet when they go to drive the people out, they say, nah, y'all can stay, y'all can hang out. And so this is interesting because we go into chapter 2, verse 1. The angel of the Lord went up from Gebal and Bickham and said, I brought you out of Egypt and led you into the land I swore to give to your ancestors. I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and you shall not make a covenant with the people of the land, but you shall break down their altars. Yet you have disobeyed me. Why have you done this? And I have also said, I will not drive them out before you. They will become traps for you, and their gods will become snares to you. When the angel of the Lord had spoken these things to all the Israelites, the people wept aloud, and they called the place Bochim, and they offered sacrifices to the Lord. And then chapter 2, verse 6. After Joshua dismissed the Israelites, they went to take possession of the land, each to their own inheritance. The people served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and of the elders who outlived him and who had seen all the great things the Lord had done for Israel. Joshua, son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110, and they buried him in the land of his inheritance. And then it goes to chapter 2, verse 10. and that whole generation had been gathered to their ancestors, another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he has done for Israel. When the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord and served the Baals, they forsook the Lord, God, the God of their ancestors, who had brought them out of Egypt. They followed and worshipped various gods of the peoples around them. They aroused the Lord's anger because they forsook him and served Baal and the In his anger against Israel, the Lord gave them into the hands of the raiders who plundered them. So this is very interesting because it's something that I keep on hearing over and over, and something that I was asking and questioning about the whole concept of, have we already inherited and had the land that we're supposed to have? Or are we out here still trying to conquer and still trying to be able to get that? But based on what I've been reading today and really trying to figure out to find that one answer, I found that one answer, that we already have our land. But the thing is, we didn't take the land the way that God told us to take the land. That he said that when he wasn't going to drive them all out instantly because we didn't have enough people, enough stuff to be able to take care of it. So he was going to drive them out, tribe by tribe, nation by nation, peoples by peoples, ruler by ruler, king by king, when we would get there and keep pushing them further out so that we were able to take all of this land. And then there was a time in the day that we took all the land, but yet we didn't get and force the people out. We allowed the people to stay in, what God told us not to do. He said do not do that. Do not intermingle with these people. Do not hang out with these people. Get these people out of here. Because if you hang out with these people, you're going to start doing the things that these people were doing. That whatever it is that they do is very powerful. That I don't know what it is, but this is something that I do know about life and living out here. That, good boy Shadow, that doing wicked stuff out here, doing evil is so easy. And doing good and doing righteous stuff is so hard. It's so complicated. It's so hard to just keep doing good and good and good and good and staying at that over and over and over. It is so easy to just do the wrong stuff. It is so simple. That's something that I just know for a fact more and more each time I keep on reading this book. That just lets me know what our internal and all is. That it's so easy to just lie a little bit to get away with something. It's so easy to just cheat a little bit to get away with something. Instead of just being honest and saying, I messed up, I don't know, and I don't know how to do it. It's so hard to do that. It's so hard to spit those words out. Yeah, I don't know, and I messed up. It's so easy to just keep on your viewpoint and your speech and your ways of being, of just trying to deceive and trying to manipulate, trying to just keep on hiding. It's so easy to do that. It's just like, it just comes out of people. And I watch this over and over, and I study this and I pay very close attention to this. It's so easy to just talk so ruthless to somebody when they're not getting your viewpoint. It's so easy to go to that, as opposed to saying to that person that doesn't see your viewpoint, just saying, hey, you know, what I'm saying must not be correct. Let me help you and teach you and guide you to get you to understand what's going on here, as opposed to just trying to demean them and just be ruthless to them. It's so easy to go to the negative, but it's so hard to go to the positive. Yeah, Oreo, let's get down. It's so hard to do that. So it's a very interesting thing that God was telling us to do such a thing, of get these people out of here, because they're going to bring you right back into doing the evil things, to doing the unrighteous stuff, to be doing the wicked things, to get them out, because they're going to get you back in there. They just are. It's just what's going to happen. God knows. He knows. So that's why he tells us what to do. And if we don't do, he's like, dang, man, what's going on here? There's story after story just goes on like that. The story of Saul, that's coming up after the Judges in 1 Samuel, that he had a mission to be able to do some stuff. He didn't do it, so God's like, I'm done with you. I'm going to bring someone else in to do the job that I need to get done. You're not doing what I need you to do. You're not doing what I told you to do. So when you're not doing that, he knows what's going to come to you. Just tragedy. Just absolute tragic stuff's going to happen to you. You're going to start intermingling. You're going to start having children with them. You're going to start hanging with them. Then sooner or later, you're going to start doing the same stuff that they did. So all these Canaanites and all these people, let's just use that term, they were doing things that God does not like. He's not approves of. And it's something that I've said this before, and I got to say it again. It's not that the Israelites are so righteous and so amazing and so on point that he's given them the land. He's given them the land because the people that are on the land are so wicked, so disastrous, so just mass amounts of chaos. That's why he's giving you the land. So it's not because you're good you're getting it. It's because the people that are on it are worse than what you are. So when you're living and get intermingle with the people that God is telling you to get out, that you're going to continue to keep doing this worse with, you're going to end up doing the wicked stuff with them. And that's what happened. That's what happened. And then they ended up losing the land. They ended up losing what it is that they had. They had it. They conquered it. They had all the power. They had all the fighting men. They had everything to be able to take care of it. And they didn't even need the fighting men. They just needed God. And they had God with them to be able to get these people to get out. But they didn't do it. They said, you know what? What we do as humans. I know better than God. I know we'll be fine with these people. Look, see, they're all right. They're just hanging out. They're just doing what they're doing. We can keep these people around. And we don't even want to just keep them. We can put them to work. We'll make them our slaves. We'll make them cut the trees down and make our bricks and build our roads and do all this work, thinking that as long as they're our slaves, they're not going to be able to infiltrate and be able to do anything to us. They're not going to change us. They're not going to get us to do their ways. No, they're our slaves. And that's just not the way it works, because God clearly does know that you can't have anything around. You can't have anybody around that is trying to that goes 100% against God, because you're going to start doing those things. It's just natural. It's what we are. And God's saying that to us over and over again. It's so natural for us to just go back to do the evil stuff. It's so easy. It just comes out of us. It's so simple. But to continue to keep on doing the right thing, it's hard work. It's hard work. That's why the main thing that God is looking for us to do, and the only thing he's looking for us to do on this planet, is to live by his commands and live by his laws. That's enough. That's too much. That's enough. It's a lot of hard work. That's the work. It's a lot of hard work. And it's a lot to stay on board with it. It's a lot to keep your mind in it. It's a lot to see some evil out there and just stay away from it. It's a lot to keep on that mission. It's a lot alone. And that alone is enough to be able to satisfy a human being on this planet. That going to that evil stuff, it's going to set you downhill. It's not going to bring you where you want to go. But it's easy to go that way. And God is explaining that to us over and over. So when we ended up getting the land and living in the land, and they sectioned out and let everyone live on the land, and everyone's hanging out there and thinking that everything's good to go because we're powerful, we're tough. So we got these people as our slaves, so we could do what we do. And you ended up messing up. And that's something that we all today should pay very, very close attention to, what it is that we're doing, what information that we're bringing in, what it is that we're paying attention to. Because a lot of times the stuff that we're paying attention to can get us to go right back into what it is that we said that we didn't want to do. You said to yourself, I want to stop smoking, but yet you're keeping people around that are doing it. And then and all that's going to happen in due time, you're going to go back into it. Even though you say to yourself, no, I'm so holy, I'm so righteous, I'll never this, I'll never that, you're going to go back into it. You're going to see them doing it, and it's going to happen that you're going to fall right back into it. There's no reason to even put yourself in that situation to have to deal with that. There's no reason to have to just deal with that sort of fight in life. Get out of it, get away from it, and exit it. And that's something that a lot of people, it's hard, because when you decide to get on a righteous path and in a righteous life, that you got to get rid of pretty much everyone that you used to talk to. Like everyone, all of them got to go. Everything got to get out. Even a lot of your family got to go. A lot of them got to get out. Because as soon as you just keep going back to it, they're going to keep pulling you to keep going and doing what it is that they do. And they're going to look and laugh and point fingers at you like, you stupid, look at you doing that, huh? Oh, you can't smoke, you can't relax. It just chills you out. It just calms you down, just makes your day better. You don't want to drink. Oh, it just relaxes you. We're just having a good time. We just hanging out. It's not like we do it all the time. We just do it, every day. That's the new funny stuff that I hear today. We don't do it all the time. Just every day after 4 o'clock, we just do it. It's not like all the time. So they try to make it sound like it's good, like it's all right. And it's like, no, they just don't want to see you get into a better place. They want you to keep on doing what's easy. And what's easy is to continue drinking, is to continue having too much sex that you shouldn't be, going out there and doing drugs that you shouldn't be, go out there gambling like you shouldn't be, go out there eating too much like you shouldn't be. That's easy. It's easy to do that. It's hard to say, no, I'm stopping that and I'm going a different route. And that's what God is demanding for us to do. Cut that off, start and go right. And be with your people that are right and find new people that are right so that you can continue to stay on that mission. So it's not a matter of we are out here living a life to be able to just be simple and be easy. There's some things that we have to do. There's some things that we have to pay attention to. There's some things that we are required to do to be able to have God to be able to help us. And as long as we're doing those, because that's what happens here. God's with them when they're on the commands. As soon as they get away from it, God has something to get you to get back on it again. So when you're living a life that everything is just good to go, every job lines up, your money flow, you got stacks on cash, everything is good in your life. That's the moment in this Bible and how it works. That's the moment that you stop paying attention to God. That's the moment that you stop reading this book. That's the moment that you stop praying to him. That's the moment that every weekend you're no longer reading the commands and reading the laws out loud anymore. That's the moment that you stop telling them to your kids every single day. That's the moment that you take the signs out of your house that have the 10 commandments listed. That's the moment that you start to just drink a little bit because you're like, I'm fine now. I'm good to go now. It's not like I'll go back to there again. That's the moment that you start doing all of that. And then God's like, man, I got to bring him back in. So how is he going to bring you back in? That one drink is going to get you addicted to it again. That one slip up is going to get you to just backslide completely, just way back, way further away. That one mistake is going to set you to do some crazy madness that's going to just start to torment you in reality. That the demons are going to start to come into you. They're going to start tormenting you. And then what are you going to do at that moment? Please, God, please, can you get me out of this? I'm struggling. I'm hurting. I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to quit. I don't know how to get away from it. I don't know where to go right now. Everything is just pushing down on me. I lost all my wealth. I lost all my friends. I lost my career. I lost everything I was doing. I've lost myself to the point that I'm homeless on the streets now. I need your help, God. And then God, he comes back in. He's like, oh, okay, I'm here. Not in a arrogant, haha, yeah, whatever, dude. No, in a, okay, but I'm going to help you out of this. And I'm going to continue to keep helping you out of this. And there's something I need you to do. Pay attention to my commands. Pay attention to my laws, man. And then I'm going to always be here for you. Don't get so proud that you think that because things are good now it's time to just relax and just chill. Now it's time to just stop reading his word. Now it's time to stop praying. Now it's time to just stop trying to help out people. Now it's time to just relax. Now it's time to chill. Now it's time to just sit back. No, you want to keep moving forward because there's all kinds of stuff out here that's constantly out here to just destroy you, just absolutely destroy you. That everywhere you look today, everywhere you go, there's something to just destroy you. And it's not even stuff that's out there. It's stuff that's going to start to come into you, stuff that's going to come to you. That you're just going to be walking, doing what you're doing, or driving, doing what you're doing, and something is going to come to you. That's just going to test you, challenge you, pressure you. Like, come on, man, get back to that wicked stuff again. Come on, man, this is fun. This is easy. This is amazing. And things are just going to keep on coming to you. Your social media accounts, all the information you're going to see is just people having fun. It looks like fun. People are just woohoo, doing what they're doing and going on this vacation, on this boat ride and boat trip. But you're not seeing the reality. You're not seeing how hurting they are, how drunk they are, how sad they are, how depressed they are, how anxious they are, how they're needing all of these things to be able to run and get away from these problems that they have. That you're not seeing that. And all that's going to start coming to you because it's easy to do that. But you got to stay strong. You have to stay firm. You got to reject that. You got to get away from that. You got to completely run away from that. You got to shut that down. You just have to do everything you can to just say, you know what? I don't need to deal with that. And don't even tempt yourself with it. That's the main thing that God is saying here, especially with pushing these Canaanites out. He's like, don't even tempt yourself, man. Just get it out of here. Get it out. Burn all their altars down. Give up all their stuff. Get all their little ways and their stuff and all their little symbols and all their little fake gods they got standing up. Get rid of it all. Don't even have it there for you to look at. Just get it out. Get it out. Stop trying to think that you are tough and you are powerful to just ignore it and just like, that's not going to affect me. It's something for me that I had to deal with that, of realizing there's some stuff that I know I'm supposed to do, but yet I would just put myself in it, saying to myself, I got God, man, I'm good to go. Not realizing that there's stuff out here that is not more powerful, but as far as our bodies and what our emotions, what our feelings, what our everything is, our flesh. There's stuff out here that's more powerful if your flesh gets involved with it. You stay spiritual with God, cool, one thing. But we're not living in a spirit, we're living in a body. And our flesh is going to keep getting attacked over and over and over again. It's just going to keep on getting attacked. And you got to stay away from it, not being proud, thinking I'm good to go, I got God. No, you're going to get drawn into it. That's what happens over and over and over again. And don't be that one that's like, I'm the unique one here. That's not going to happen to me, because it still has not happened yet in this Bible. That still hasn't happened there. No one has been able to get away from it. No one has been able to just be so good that nothing ever challenged them again. They all end up getting stuck. Every single prophet ends up getting stuck in something. Every single one. They're not perfect. And it's amazing that each story is written in a way to show you that they are not perfect, to let you know who we are and what we are. That they all have this little thing about them that's just like, man, what's going on here? One of the rulers had what, 700 wives and 300 concubines, thinking that you could I don't know why I use that word, it's kind of I use it for animals, but you think you could service that many women? He had a problem. Even though he was a king and a ruler and had God's a blessing and God's wisdom and all the wealth, and God gave him all the wealth, he still had an issue. He still had a problem. And he still had something in him that he didn't know how to get rid of. And it's something that we're constantly going to keep on working on. But it's something that we need to be working on. But if you'd stay away from that, you would be able to work on it and be able to have it better and better, and you would be good to go. It's something that a lot of us should really pay close attention to. And something to realize that we've already had our inheritance. We've already had our blessing. It's already there. It's already here with us. It's a matter of us getting away from the things that are going against God so that we could finally be able to get into it. And getting closer and closer to God is going to be able to get you closer and closer to what it is that you're all about, to that land that you want, to that opportunity of work that you want, to everything that you want. It's already there. It's already here. You already got it. But it's hidden from you because you're not living by the commands. You're not going by God's laws. You're just doing what you want to do. You're doing what feels good. You're doing what all of society today is right. And it's wrong. It's not right. It's completely wrong. You need to get away from that. And once you get away from that, you're going to go into what it is that was already offered and already given to you and already promised to you. God promises some great things on this planet. And one thing is being able to figure out how to have some peace, how to be able to let some anger go, how to get the frustration out, how to get the anxiety and the depression gone, how to get all your addictions of the flesh out of you. Get it out. Get your lust gone. Get your desires gone. Get all these out of you so that you could be able to just really experience this world for what it is. Amazing. And just absolutely just super exciting. When you get away from all that's trying to pull and drag you down, you see the joy that's out here. And then you see where it is where you can put yourself to service to help some people out, because you'll be able to see them hurting. You'll be able to see them destroyed. And you'll be able to come to them with an extreme amount of compassion and not trying to talk down to them, not call them stupid, not call them names, because what it is they're doing. You wouldn't have to do that because you are right with God. And when you're right with Him, you're going to be able to have the correct wisdom, the right ways, the righteous way to go to be able to help people, guide people, to bring people into a better place and a better situation, not calling them names. And with that, I just want to say thank you for a very interesting day for me today, and thank you for. I'm just going to say thank you for the rain. That the coolness that has dropped down. It's dropped at least 20 degrees today. It's nice. We had a nice breeze that came in, and I want to say thank you for the rain that's here. Even though I don't see it dropping, there's enough moisture in the air today. That's more than we've ever had in weeks, maybe even 2 months at this moment. I don't even know. I think it's more than 2 months it hasn't rained. But that alone is enough to just bring inspiration out here of bringing new life and bringing new greatness. And I want to say thanks for the change that I keep on seeing out here. That I understand that it's raining too much in other places and then not enough in others. I understand that some places need it because they on fire, and other places that don't need it because they got too much of it. But I hope and I pray that we can all have a balance of understanding of getting what it is that we need when we need it, and it comes through when we need it. That I don't need to worry. I don't need to be anxious. I don't need to be stressed over it. It's going to come when it's there. The more I worry, the more it's not coming. The more I'm anxious, it's not coming. The more I'm sitting depressed and oh, I can't this and I can't that, it's not coming. But the more that I realize that when I need it, it'll be there, because I'm relying on God to be able to give it to me. That I can't move the weather. I can't move the fire. I can't change the rain and the water. I can't, but God can. And when I believe in knowing that it's going to happen when it needs to happen, He's going to do what He needs to do to give me what I need to make it to the next steps that I need to be able to go. And I'm thankful to be able to rely upon that and know that and believe that and trust in that, because that's been able to just make my life not so stressful anymore. It's been able to make me realize that what I fall behind on, stop worrying. You're too far ahead already. You're worrying about something that is insignificant in comparison to where it is that you're about to go. Because where you're about to go, it's already been promised to you that you're going to have a very, very blessed life. And continue to keep on going to that by being righteous, by living by the commands and the laws that God has given to us to be able to follow. It's going to be able to bring you where you want to go. And that's super exciting to me. And I would hope that someone else would be able to see the beauty in that as well. To be able to hear something and read something, to be able to finally understand something, to just get rid of one of your things that you want to get rid of now, to get onto one of the commands that you know that you're pushing against. If you're out there committing adultery, you with someone else and doing some madness, just say to yourself, I'm going to stop this, because it's all in your control. If you're out there stealing, you're doing something, and you're doing some sort of work that's just taking, and you know you're taking, it's you that can stop that. You can make the decision to say, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop this. And if that's your life way of being able to make the money, ask God, I need a replacement. Bring me some righteous work so that I can get away from this wickedness that I'm doing, trying to deceive to be able to get, and not actually helping, not helping anybody, but just helping myself and manipulating, stealing. Ask God and get away. It's in our power to do that. No one else can bring that to you. Only you can make the decision, the choice to do that. And I'm thankful of knowing that all the changes I can do in my life are based on what I can do. I don't need to convince anybody else to change. I only need to just change my own self. That's just so amazing. Thank you.